His theory is that we have completely changed our systems. We have trained our bodies from birth to eat animal products and to upregulate those enzymes and to be able to metabolize animal products because we've grown up on that, which has changed our chemistry. And then when we stop, if we stop suddenly, or if we stop, if we just stop eating that stuff and our body's expecting it, we're changing the chemistry and it doesn't know how to adapt. So it has to do like adaptation, which is very fascinating. So his advice is to start very slowly to change to a plant-based diet.
The common theme in the stories that I hear are people that are overweight, never thought of themselves as athletes, and are heavily medicated. They're on statin drugs, or they're on antidepressants. They're on a whole battery of medications. And the emails that I get are, my doctor told me I would have to take these medications for the rest of my life. I never once thought that I would ever entertain the idea of eating a plant-based diet, so far outside of my realm of frame of reference. I didn't consider myself an athlete. I've never been a runner. I've always been 80 pounds overweight. I've gone on diets and yo-yoed, all these sorts of things. And then the common sort of, after is, here I am, I just ran my first marathon. You would never have believed my doctor's reaction when I went into his office and told him after he took my blood tests and said, "What are you doing?" And I said, I'm not taking the statins anymore. Like all of these amazing stories of personal transformation, and really people who are taking control of their lives rather than abdicating control to this person or this doctor or whatever their friend said, but really, like, for the first time looking at themselves and saying, this is what I want, and actually implementing changes that have created new sustainable paths for them. And it's incredibly gratifying.
Okay, here's a perfect example. I have a client. He came to me with massive issues, like health issues. And he's young and healthy, but he had all these like major chronic issues, eczema, asthma, allergies, stuff like that. Put him on a plant-based diet. In 3 days, all better, right? He's fitness improved, everything's better. But then he read an article, he's like, wait, I was told that I need to have meat because of blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, go try it. You feel so good, your energy's better, you've solved your chronic conditions. You really don't believe it? Like, you've seen it yourself. So I would say try it, read the literature, know that the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, everyone supports it. Now the USDA is probably gonna have to support a plant-based diet. The research speaks for itself. There is no question that you are not only safe, but you are healthier off by eating a plant-based diet.
Here is the point. So, of course, evolution is not about living until you are 85 or 90 and retired in the Bahamas. Evolution is about passing on your genes. And it only favored our ancestors to live long enough so they could pass their genes. And they often died at 35. That was, that was the average age of people when the people died back then. So, of course, nowadays we want to live longer than 35, and we care a little bit about different things. We want to have long, happy lives. And here is the problem, because meat causes a lot of health issues in the older age. So once you hit 40, 50, 60, and so on, meat has been connected to cancer, to heart disease, to diabetes, and so on. So these are usually the diseases that our ancestors, these were not at the top of their problems. Their problems were, have enough to eat, run away from the lion. These were the problems they had, not avoiding cancer and living to be 95. So the priorities have changed. So something that used to be good for our ancestors and nourished them is no longer good for us. In the same way, for example, if you are in a desert and you have no water, and you find a stream or some kind of source of water that's very dirty and probably brimming with bacteria and so on, it is still a really good idea to drink from the source, because otherwise you die. But if you are, in Manhattan, and you have bottled Evian with you, it will be really stupid to drink dirty water brimming with bacteria, right? So it's just a question of what's available and what's best at the time.
Why are we torturing all these animals? All we're doing is harming ourselves and the planet in so doing, and we're creating this gigantic karmic debt in the process. And it's really deplorable, and the system is set up to prevent the average consumer from really understanding what's going on. I mean, for years I thought, what's wrong with wool? You know, all wool, they're just giving a haircut to these animals. And when you see what they're actually doing to these animals to create that wool sweater, it's absolutely horrifying. And I think as human beings, we're all inherently compassionate people. And we don't want to look at that stuff because we know if we do, then we might have to modify our behavior. And we don't like to modify our behavior. We like to do what we're doing. And these companies want us to continue to do what we're doing. But I think it's incumbent upon us to all be much more educated and astutely aware about how products, whether it's a food product or a clothing product, you know, arrives in the store and on your back or on your plate. And in this age of the internet, we have so many resources available to us. What a gift, what a wonderful, amazing thing to be able to hit a few keystrokes and find out the truth about anything. We're the first generation in the history of mankind that has that kind of power. And I think with that comes a certain responsibility and a level of advocacy that we really need to grab onto, take hold of, and use to better this planet and better humankind.